Okay. So this episode is I got my man Trucker Blueprint on here. We're gonna be dropping jewels.
What's
We're
up?
gonna
What's
just get in
up?
the game. We're gonna clip it back up. We're gonna make it interesting. We got commentary, we got videos, we got suggestions. Peace and love, Coach Rob. We got suggestions, we got ideas, anything you guys want to push forward. I'm here, Trucker Blueprints here. He's here to give game. I'm here to hit game. But we also are here to have a good time. This is commentary, right? This is just me and him being partners and getting online and looking at videos and me giving him giving us his opinion on the videos, right? So we're gonna play the first video, guys. We got enough people on the live. Trucker
It's just
Blueprint, you want to say
dialogue.
anything, brother?
That's it. It's just dialogue.
Trucker Blueprint, you want to say anything, brother?
Oh yeah, man. I just want to say thank you for putting me on this, first of all. And today it's all about information, man. The biggest thing is gatekeepers in the game of trucking, gatekeepers in the game of insurance. And we do this so we can come together and spread the information because there's a lot of lack of information and misinformation out there. And Alante know the reason why I do all this thing is to spread the information because it's out there, but it's really not out there at the same time. So like
Right.
today, we're gonna watch some videos, do some dialogue, we'll talk. But like I said, I want y'all to have the information out there. So when it's time to move, y'all know how to move, not just moving because y'all want to move. It's a difference between walking in place and walking and going somewhere. So hopefully we can walk and go somewhere.
The interesting thing about Greg is that Greg's been in the industry for a while. We knew each other since since delivering sheetrock together. So
Yeah.
I met him before he had a CDL. He had a B, I think. He had a B?
Nah, I ain't have nothing.
Oh. You was driving those big trucks back then. I thought you had a B back then.
No, I got my B. Remember, I came on as a temp. Like that's how bad it was for me. I came on as a temp, and then once I got my Class B CDL, that's when I got hired full time. So we talking about over a decade ago, and that's the crazy thing to see the maturation of both of us. We started at the same place, and we just we done leveled
We're
up
together,
just like that. I'm here, you there, but we still climbing.
Yep. We're together, bro.
And that's the
It's,
beauty of this.
we worked together we worked twice together. We reconnected after he got a
Oh yeah, we
CDL. I had a
did. Yeah,
CDL.
for 2 weeks. Out there.
We followed each other's journey, in regards to the trucking thing. Like we both have been in the industry for a while. He had a company. He had a brokerage. He had a box truck company. He had a trucking company. He had a lot of things going on. So we're gonna get our own episode of him just specifically. But it's just my partner, bro. So we're gonna watch these videos of this national news, and we're gonna commentate on it. All right. Let me start off. Y'all ready out there? Let's roll.
Veered his semi off Interstate 81 last week and hit Trooper Michael Pahira Jr. DHS says that driver lost his parole status last year and was ordered to leave the U.S. CB Cotton has more on this tragic story. CB.
Hey, John. So investigators say this past Wednesday, Michael Bond, an illegal immigrant from Haiti, was driving that tractor trailer, which veered off onto the shoulder of Interstate 81 in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania, crashing into another semi and fatally striking state trooper Mike Behera, who was conducting another commercial vehicle inspection. Bond now faces a slew of charges for this chain reaction.
So the DOC officer was conducting another DOT inspection. And, right now, this whole illegal CDL holder thing has been politicized, if that's a word. So this is a big deal right now, guys. This is huge because he died, an officer died due to quote unquote negligence. And I think the guy was hired in Illinois or something. I could be incorrect. What do you think so far, brother?
Here's the thing. Everybody know I'm an advocate for truckers. I'm also an advocate for doing the right thing. And honestly, this is the company fault as long as the driver's fault because he doesn't seem like he was the owner operator. So first, I fought the company for keeping this man employed for being already. I think the video said he was supposed to be off parole or off the roll a year ago. So one, the company is at fault. Two, he's at fault because he knows this as well. And honestly, it's a sad story because it's deeper for me because I got family in the trucking game also on the police side as well. So I feel like it's a sad it's really one-sided, where the officer was doing what he was supposed to do, and the driver wasn't supposed to be there. And anybody knows if you drive trucks, they will find any way to fault you. So if you already know that you're not supposed to be driving the vehicle, let's go ahead and eliminate some of this and get off the road until you can get legal and drive. So I just feel like this is an unnecessary death, and I put 100% fault on the driver and 100% fault on the company because he was never supposed to be on the road in the first place.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing, further like what his history was, because hitting somebody, especially the officer, the lights party on, is crazy. I don't understand the dynamic of that, bro. Like even when you're driving, you're keen to police. Like you automatically got your bunny ears up as soon as you as a cop. That's how even if you're legal, it doesn't matter. You're just keen to police. So for you not to see him, that's real crazy. I'm gonna play it.
Like I said, we don't. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, bro.
No, I mean like we wasn't there, and I don't know what state because 81 stretches out. But most states they have a pull to the left or pull over. Pull to the next lane so you don't hit the police officer or the car. That he's pulling over, she's pulling over. So technically, there's a law where you're supposed to switch lanes anyway. Everyone knows that. You see police on the right hand side, you in the right lane, switch to the left lane. Most times, cars and trucks will let you in no matter what. So once again, this is negligence. I don't know the whole story, but right now it sounds like it's negligence on the driver. There's no way around this.
Shouts out to my guy CDO Shorty. He just said, is there a better way for an officer to conduct an inspection instead of doing it on the side of the road? There has to be a way. There has to be a better way, and it's true, CDO. But you'll get to these weird spots where it might not be a better way. You feel me? Like especially on long stretches, we don't know. So that's the question mark in this whole scenario. But I'm gonna continue. Let's keep playing it.
Action crash, including homicide by vehicle. DHS tells Fox Bond entered the U.S. in July 2024 under the Biden administration's humanitarian parole program, later applying for temporary protected status, but his application was denied. Federal sources tell Fox the Trump administration then terminated his legal status in June 2025 and ordered him to leave the country, but he didn't. Now ICE.
Boy. I got about 2 more minutes. Can y'all hear me? I got about 2 more minutes. Boy. I'm in the video, that is. They said he was ordered to leave the country, but he didn't. Now, CDL, do you want to rephrase what you just said, brother? Because now he wasn't even supposed to be in the country. He know, bro. Look at this dude. He know it's over, bro.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's negligence. Because here's the thing. They're going to hit him on multiple charges now. Because it's one thing to be illegally driving. Now you're in the country illegal as well. So now his life is over with. He's never going back home. If so, they're going to deport him. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to get life. All about driving a truck and trying to make some money. It's not worth it. Like, I love trucking. I'm also an advocate for trucking as well. But we as truckers have to comply with the laws, man. Because, look, this is a sad story. I came to defend this guy, and I'm always going to defend us. But it leaves me no room to defend because you're not supposed to be here in the first place. So,
well, see, bro, not to interrupt, but everybody who got a CDL ain't a trucker.
Some people just got truckers. You got people who drive trucks. It's 2 different things.
Facts.
So, it's 2. Truckers know the law. They abide by the law. And you got these cats that just drive trucks for the money. They don't know too much. They know how to get there to point A to point B. They don't know how to slide the tandems. They don't know anything about actually the truck and trailer. So I don't know his situation. I don't want to judge him. But just going off of what I do here, that's a guy who just drives trucks. So, man, it's crazy.
And my man CDL said, not at all, because it could happen to any of us, I'm on the road right now, and sometimes cars don't let us over in time, and that is a true statement. I'm not gonna lie, but CDL, the point with this one is he was instructed to leave the country 2 months ago, and he didn't. That's the fact. If he was just if he was just an American driver, I think I could chop it up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Even if he really wanted a real trucker, but this dude when he's supposed to be in the country, so it's like you're crossing lines. And the reason why rates are so good right now, it's not because of capacity. It's because of stricter regulations the government's bringing in, and that's increasing the docks, right? That's increasing
Yeah,
the Landstars lanes. That's increasing the UPS lanes and the FedEx lanes. That's increasing the mail lanes. That's increasing the fruit lanes. You know, the
and
vegetable
that
lanes in the summertime. All this is because stricter rules, not because the market has tightened. Let's play.
Has lodged a detainer for Bond. On Wednesday, Governor Josh Shapiro remembering Trooper Becerra as a dedicated public servant who loved documentaries, modifying cars, and cooking. The governor said the trooper had just moved back in with his parents to help care for his mom undergoing cancer treatment.
As I said, his mom is battling cancer, and Mike, just in the last few days, helped her shave her head as she is going through
This is the way they gonna fry this dude.
He was a loving son, and he was kind and gentle.
So Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has taken a series of steps to crack down on commercial driver's licenses issued to non-citizens. In this case, Sean, it appears the suspect fell into a gap between old policy and new ones. Fox Digital reporting from the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles that Bond got a non-domiciled commercial driver's license from the state in March 2025 when he was qualified and was authorized to work under federal law, and his license was renewed in February 2026 before the Trump administration directed states to stop issuing or renewing non-domiciled CDLs for drivers without legal status. We did just get information, John, and it does seem like this is a case of bad timing because we're told that if Bond had applied for a renewal next year, he would have been rejected in accordance with the new federal policies. John, I also want to mention that according to our tracking, since summer 2024, there have been at least 6 deadly crashes involving illegal immigrant commercial truck drivers.
6 is too many. It's too many. Should be none. Go ahead, brother. You got the floor.
Man, after hearing the whole video, like I said, it's a sad story. Because anytime you talk about death and someone loses their life, like, you know, from working, police officer doing his job, it's a sad story. So it seems like he was non-legal. And then also just this is my first time hearing it. It seems like he wasn't supposed to be here in the country. So once again, it's unfortunate because I drive trucks too. I still drive trucks to this day. So everything that his mom was going through, I can think of like your buddy said, the CDL trucker. Like, listen, like if you're in the right-hand side, sometimes you can't get over. They just won't allow you to get over. So you creep, you slow down. You know, I don't know the situation. I wasn't there. But once again, this is why Trump is cracking down on illegal non-speaking immigrants or CDL holders. And that's another reason why the freight is going up. There's a multiple reasons, and I'm not going to get into it right now. But they took a lot of non-legal CDL immigrants off the road, especially on the West Coast in Texas. A lot. I think the number is like 675,000 truckers, which is a lot. You got to think about it, that's almost 1 million or 500,000, a little bit over 500,000. So once again, I blame the company. It's hard to say I blame the trucker because at the end of the day, I know what he's doing, but he wasn't really supposed to be on the road.
I blame the trucker.
It's unfortunate.
I'm not blaming all truckers. And because I am a trucker, I can talk about other truckers. I can do it. I don't have. If I wasn't a trucker and I didn't spend so much time on the road, and you know I was out there, bro. You know I was out there. I wouldn't have this firm just feeling towards people who are in the country because I feel like this. I feel like each country has a different driving rules, standard, you know, all that, bro. Like if I went to Mexico, I probably can get in with I could drive anywhere, but at the same time, can they drive over here? Our infrastructures are different. The infrastructure in these third world countries are different in America. The rules are different. And I don't like U-turn truckers. I don't like people doing bull stuff. It's a lot of American truckers right now. They're saying it's committing a lot of sex trafficking. I'm gonna do a video about that soon. So I'm not for American truckers doing bullshit. I'm not. But I'm also not for illegal immigrant truckers killing people.
No, absolutely. Like I said, he wasn't supposed to be here, and it's an unfortunate incident because American citizen died. Period. So it's just very unfortunate because once again, it could be prevented. So it's a sad. It's sad news, man. But it don't shine a good light on truckers either. But this is not a good trucker story because this is not your average trucker. Once again, it don't shine a good light, and we already have negative connotation around us. We really do, and this don't help us at all. But it doesn't help the legal immigrants that's here as well. It don't help their case either. Because like I said, if you look at some of these Trump laws, they really cracking down on just immigrants, legal or not. He's really cracking down on some of this stuff. So it's just an unfortunate event for to hear this story.
This is not a illegal immigrant trucker bash because I do business with a lot of immigrant truckers. I do business with a lot
Absolutely.
of immigrant truckers, bro. Africans, Haitians. I just got a guy from Russia today, and I fuck with them all, bro. Cause truck is the one thing you can come here and do right and kind of get into the system and make money efficiently, bro. And you can put your hard work and and be an entrepreneur and build something. You feel me? So I see them. I see a lot of people run up like that. I ain't got no problem with them, bro. But they're more strict with that situation than me because they did it the right way.
Yeah.
In my next
like you said,
video,
go ahead.
crazy enough, I just find these clips about random stuff. Say, "Oh, I'm gonna do a video to it." It's about illegal immigrant truck driver crashes. I didn't
Right
even have
here.
it playing like that.
What's on your
I didn't.
mind
Have, I
today,
swear to God,
Monte?
it's just clips I found on my phone.
What's on your
That's not gonna make
mind?
a. But hey, let's
Yeah.
continue. Going down the rabbit hole of what the current legislation, the current people in office clearly know they're doing. They're cleaning the industry up, and the industry is at an all-time market high. It's probably haven't been this the better time to be in trucking since right before COVID. And we don't have a ceiling right now. There's no ceiling. The rates keep going upward and upward and upward. Capacity keeps tightening and tightening because the rules are getting stricter. Oh, I got a monologue I want to say. So if you are a fraud out there, this is my monologue. I want to say, if you're a fraud, if you come, you get your trucking company, right? You got 3 or 4 trucking companies at one house. I want you to know that Highway can identify your IP address. Highway knows that you have 2 or 3 companies at your trucking. I'm sorry, Highway knows you have 2 or 3 trucking companies at your house because of your IP address, the registration. They don't. It's not just address. It's not just VIN numbers anymore. Like the insurance monitoring systems are getting very
Very strict.
articulate and intricate about how they search people who are doing fraud in trucking. I'm telling you what I know on the inside. I'm seeing it today. Somebody who I know has several trucking companies, and Highway shut them down to the system. The Highway say, "No, you got this company, this company, this company at your IP address. We know what you're doing." So, I'm just being honest.
Well, look, we're removing thousands of illegal aliens with CDLs. We're working very closely with many states. DHS is working hand in hand with Sean Duffy and his department. So the problem is we're working very well with red states. Blue states are still a struggle, right? Places like New York, ICE and CBP can't even get access to the DMV database to run the checks. So, the continuation of sanctuary states, sanctuary cities, thank God, Todd Blanche is suing these cities as they come up, and we got to keep suing them. But we're out there, Dana, enforcing law. We're out there looking for these illegal alien CDLs. In the last 5 days, ICE has arrested over 10,000 illegal aliens, which is a record for the agency.
So once
That's a lot,
again,
man.
CDL, are you willing to go on this hill, my brother, defending this? I understand the American truckers are some bullshit, bro. Sometimes I get it. Like I get, but at least we're supposed to be here. That's my plight. I can't defend no illegal immigrant trucker. I'm not. My hat, I got a hat that says American trucker. Nothing else. If I gotta go on that hill of being an American trucker, I gotta go on that hill, bro. I gotta go on that hill, bro. I gotta be the controversy to say that, this shit ain't right. I gotta say it, bro, because at the end of the day, it's only gonna make the people who are supposed to be in it make more money.
Well, let me also tell you this: the reason why they cracking down on
This is
this,
my life, bro. It ain't that serious to fit with your life.
no,
Not that
it's
serious.
my life too, brother. Like this is before all this, I was just a trucker. That's it. So it's my life too. But here's the thing: in anything that you do, there's rules and regulations. If you a fighter, you can't do steroids. If you a track star, you can't do enhancement drugs. Even though they don't really hurt you, but they enhance. What I'm saying is we still gotta follow rules and regulations. And the reason why they cracking down is because trucking got so lax. It really did. Even nowadays with the 2 year inspection for your body. I forget. I'm losing my train of
DOT.
thought. The DOT, your medical card. Back into the day, you could just have your DOT doctor. He write it down. You take it to the DMV. You're done. You can't do that no more because there's so much fraud going on. Now your doctor has to mail it to the DMV now. So there's no way around it. So if you take your medical card to the DMV, at least in the state of Georgia, they're not going to accept it because now the medical certificate holder, they have to do it for you. Just because there's so much fraud, even freight brokers. And I'm not trying to get off subject, but
Keep
let me tell
going.
you how this trucking happened. So from 2020 to 2023, it was a influx of owner operators, and they messed up the game only because they came in with a hustle and they ain't know anything about trucking. So insurance was high, trucks was like 90,000 used with 600,000 miles.
Word.
And so they cracked it down. It was a lot of
Yeah.
California fraud brokers going on. So now they got a new freight broker law where the freight brokers could be held responsible if the carrier get in an accident, if they're an unsafe carrier, because now they're supposed to vet us. So brokers really supposed to vet who they got hauling these loads. This ain't happened overnight. This is
Nope.
accumulation of years and years and years of fraud and just the trucking game being too lax. So now we in it, we get in the recourse of it, you know. So that's why it's good to make sure if your business is airtight, you don't got no like you have no worries. But if your business is real finicky, I will start sweating because, like you said, this is life. This his life. This is my life. Alante, this is your life because you quote truckers and other people. But what I'm saying is, we all in trucking. I'm a trucker. He's a trucker. You know what I'm saying? Like we all depend on one another. So it's like we got to get serious about the business side of trucking because if your business side is not the same way you hustle, you're gonna be out this game real quick because they cracking down on both ends. They cracking down.
They they're cracking down, and then someone on here just said a lot of commercial banks stopped giving truck loans for green card recipients, and some only approve it conditionally until their green card expires. So, what does that do to the average American trucker who's just trying to make it? It's a lot of guys out there who are 23, 25, hit me up like, bro, I'm trying to get in trucking. Like, what should I do? I tell them go to CDL so I can get a CDL. I said, bro, you can put 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week in and be able to get your money out of it. And, you got to sacrifice time, but you're young. And then you can position yourself to when you're younger. You can maybe not do it again, or you grow and have a foundation with a good job, a business. It's so many movements you can move in trucking because it introduces you to different people. So, I think about that person. You feel me? I think about that person who's getting in. And I think about how it's better in the industry for them. So nah,
No, I
nah,
mean
nah, nah, nah.
absolutely. Like I think trucking make a lot of millionaires. I look at myself. I had hopes to go to the NFL. That didn't work. I did corporate America. That didn't work. I got my class B's, class A's for other people. That none of that stuff worked. It wasn't until I became an owner operator I really started taking my life serious as far as my career, you know. And trucking has made multi-millions in my end. I've been on like the brokerage, the dispatching company, the fleets. So I'll say this: anybody who do want to get in trucking, what I failed to do was run my trucking business like a business. I ran it like I just was hustling. I was trying to make as much money as I can. But in the midst of that, I was one of them guys who didn't know all the laws and rules. And I did suffer bad. And Lante know what I mean by that. I suffered bad because I was just hustling. But if you can run your trucking business like a business from the get-go and acquire some knowledge, ask questions, get with people like Alante and myself who has knowledge in this business, you will go farther quicker. I'm being honest with you. But a lot of times guys get in the game because they go ahead.
Yeah, I'm about to play this video. And let's talk about the market. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead, do that.
Oh, you can continue, bro. Talking.
No, I just want guys to get in this business knowing it's money to be made. But if you don't know also the rules and the regulations, you will spend a lot of money on fines and fees, and then you will say ain't no money in trucking. Where it is money in trucking, but you just gotta know what to do and where to go get the money the right way. That's it. Just find good people who in this business. Because when I got in, there was no mentorship. There was nobody that I knew when I got in the game. Maybe because I didn't reach out. But now social media is kind of flooding the market. It's a lot of, like you said, Alante said, it's a lot of money right now, specifically right now in trucking. It's a great time to get into it. But a lot of times these guys came out in 23, they don't want to get back in, which I do understand. But these guys who do want to get in and get back in, just find a way to run your business like a business. So when you get a check, you made 5,000, the company made 5,000. You didn't make that. So just run your business like a business, you'll get far. That's all I want to say.
Facts. All right, guys, I'm about to play this video. Let's pull it up in real time. Let's play it. Boo boo. We're gonna delete this video right here. Let's see how this pops up. Okay, let's see what we got. Somebody said trucking was $150,000 losing lesson. It definitely could be like that, bro. I mean, but even in that lesson, you said something at the end. You said it's $150,000 losing lesson. But even if it was a lesson, did you really lose? It perhaps made you better.
You gain knowledge. You know what not to do. Shit. Minor setback. That's it. Most of this stuff, minor setbacks. You can come back. But it's more important to know what not to do versus what to do. And unfortunately, sometimes because I've done it, we learn the hard way.
And the market has a way of doing this. You're supposed to be in the market maybe a year or so ago into now, and then because you probably got your truck cheap, and then as you enter the market, you're in a stable market for the next 3 to 4 or 5 years. We don't know what Trump's going to do, who's going to do the next, but it's going to be a stable market for a while until it goes off the end. And the people who've been in trucking for so long, they know it's a cyclical the cyclical nature of trucking. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. So a lot of people, they buy trucks right now, or they bought trucks a year or two ago. They're going to keep them for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And then when trucking start to go back down again, they can sense it and they sell their trucks off. That happens a lot. And the market is judged by the freight rejections, okay? What does freight rejection mean? People saying no to loads. The more people say no to loads, the better the market is. That's how this sonar is calculated. So this video is going to talk about the market.
When we look at spot rates in refrigerated, we are up to near all-time highs. We got there a little bit right after Memorial Day in early June. Paused a little bit over the last couple of weeks. It's now ramping again. I would expect this weekend we will see it hit an all-time record again, simply because of the weather, in addition to it being July 4th holiday, and freight that is being stacked, as David Spencer, the head of analytics over at Arrive Logistics, told us yesterday on FreightWays Today, is that shippers are stacking freight for next week simply because they are not shipping that stuff out. There isn't demand for it. They're moving it into next week, so next week could actually be a bigger week than this week, according to what David is telling us.
Tell me what you think.
When we move into rejection rates, I like to look.
I'll rewind it. I'm going to stop it there. Tell me what you think.
I'm going to piggyback on what you said. He said freight is based on rejection, which is another word is capacity, right? So you can have 1 million loads and 1 million truckers. But if the freight is not what truckers want, let's just say it's $2 a mile, and all of us say no, now we're going to push up the rates. Because the market does say now we don't have the capacity to run this freight at this load anymore. So we got to move it up. And that's what has happened last year and a half, 2 years, honestly, is I'm not trying to go off subject, but if anybody knows about California brokers, back in the day, a couple years ago, it's terrible. They were taking freight for penal and dollars, really double brokering, and then they drove the market down because they were willing to take the freight at a low cost. Well, now they're gone. Like the government has passed a law where freight brokers have to have certain requirements, and also they messed it up because there's no more. A lot of this, they will say no California brokers. So once again, Alante, is when the capacity is high, freight has to go up because one thing about that freight not gonna sit. So as long as drivers know what the low cost drive-in flatbed reefer, because each lane has their cost. Like we can drive like drivers, we have power, but we got to work together at the same time. Because everybody, if you say no and everybody says no to low freight, freight won't be low because the capacity be low. So we got to drive the capacity high again. Where we'll say no to low freight and say yes to high paying freight. That's it. The capacity. That's one thing we do control, but we have to work together in that department.
I'm listening. One of my insurers is texting me, so you're 100% correct. And this is always going to be good for the industry. Oh, okay. Somebody asked a good question, but this is always going to be good for the industry because what we see when you have legislation and you have an administration that has this commitment to getting rid of the wild west part of trucking, you're going to see rates accelerate rapidly. And they're saying there is no ceiling. I'm about to do a report about that. They talk about how like freight rates might keep going up and up and up, up. I'm like, damn, this is almost if you voted for Trump to make trucking better, you got exactly what you wanted.
Exactly.
They're saying these are all-time highs. They're saying these are all-time highs. Numbers don't lie.
Like numbers don't lie.
I'm gonna take a lot of flack for that, because I wanted him for trucking. I did. It is what it is. I can go on that hill because for the most part, with if you trucking, bro, fuel ain't supposed to be high, but fuel come back down. I ain't agree with that. What's supposed to be high is like the price of a truck. Parts not even supposed to be high, bro. It should be we should have accessible parts. Fuel should be cheap, and parts should be decent priced because the supply chains allow it. But I get truck prices being high. I get that because that's a supply demand thing on a different level. But my partner said, what about Landstar double brokering and co-brokering problem? Have you heard about that?
I'll speak on it right. So I got a couple of trucks with Landstar. Now I have heard of that, but someone would actually work with. I work with Landstar on a couple of my two trucks. I haven't ran into an issue with that because one thing about Landstar, anytime you take a Landstar load, it comes from a Landstar freight agent. Now, if that freight agent double brokers, that's not so much a Landstar problem. It's a Landstar agent problem because each agent is vetted. I will say that much. And I think what's happening right now is these agents, they don't work for Landstar. They subcontracted. So they can take a load off the load board and book it and then sell it to a Landstar agent, and sell it to a Landstar driver, or they can sell it to somebody who got their own authority. Now, what I think is happening, these Landstar agents are double broken where they'll take a load from a buddy and say it's their load, and then give it to Landstar as if it's theirs. It's not. So I think Landstar would just like I know what they're doing right now because I'm internal. Landstar is cracking down on their subcontracted freight agents. But remember, Landstar Safety is one of the highest safety companies out there. And look at their statistics. Landstar is like the top 7. Anything over 15,000 units, they're like number 5 and number 6, something like that. So their safety is really high. And the one thing, I'm in Landstar, so one thing I know, they don't play about their safety, but they are cracking down on their agents. Because remember, Landstar don't hold any freight. They hold no trucks, no freight. Everything comes through their agents. So it's an agent problem, not so much a Landstar problem. So, but I have heard of that.
I had every intention when I first got my truck of going to Landstar. Every intention. And I think I just went another route for whatever reason that was in front of me. But I know from the process of getting onto Landstar, I was in the middle, they run a tight ship.
It's strict.
You can't even leave their trailers on the side of the road if I'm not mistaken.
No, you cannot sleep on the side of the road. You have to be at a truck parking spot, or you have to be at a rest area. But they will deny your contract. They'll cut your contract off. Then very next day, until you drop that trailer and somebody come and pick it up. If you park that truck on the side of the road that's 10 feet from the road, they will terminate your contract on the spot. Landstar is extremely strict. Every 90 days you gotta get a truck inspection. Every 90 days you gotta get your trailer inspected. So one thing I will say when it comes to safety habits, Landstar up there. Remember, they're so big, they only can control so much, but they will control it at some point. So yeah, I work with them, but at the same time, I don't really have anything negative to say because they are strict. They're not loose at all. So even the log system, they strict as hell. So, but once you become a freight agent with Landstar, I think they're cracking down on those guys.
I'm gonna let you continue for a second because I got it. I'm about to research something. I'm about to put some on screen. So just
Let me say this.
keep talking about Landstar because in the comments, you know, I like that you're with Landstar right now, so you can have an honest conversation. You know, you can talk about what's actually going on versus somebody who just,
Yeah, I mean, Landstar, they put if you're a BCO, which is what they call, they put a newsletter, a news out on their it's called Landstar Online page.
They run around, please.
And okay. But anyway, they'll put news like current news, and that came across. So they're cracking down on their internal freight agents. Because one thing about Landstar, they're not gonna play about their name, and they're not gonna play about their safety. So as someone who's in it, if I wasn't defending them, then it was a bad company. But for me to defend Landstar, they're a good company. They really are. Their rates. I got with Landstar about 6 months ago. Their rates are the highest rates I've ever seen, ever. Outside of government contract work. Their rates when it just come from like JB Hunt, Warner. I've done work with all of them, subcontracted. But this is my first time leasing home with another carrier because I've been running my own authority for the longest. But I will say this: if you want to make money and you don't mind being out for a week or two, you'll make really good money with Landstar. But let me also say this, because my friend went through this. If you don't follow Landstar rules, they will terminate you on spot. No warnings, on spot. So I just want y'all to get like an inside view of how they run their company. They have an open door policy, but if they have told you not to do something, they don't really have they don't give you any like freeway. Either you do it or you don't. If you do it, you're gone. Because they don't play about it. They might give you a little bit of grace on the EOD, but that's about it.
Yeah, man. They run a type shit, bro. They Jeter, they run the type shit, bro. I know that, bro. Like that's what I like about them. And even in a down market, Landstar people still be steady strong, bro.
Yeah, they got dedicated.
Somebody said,
shippers, bro.
if I book a load under my 5-year-old MC and give it to my friend who has a new MC, even though he has his own insurance and registration and authority, could he or I get in trouble if the FMCSA says this? I can't answer stuff.
I'll answer it.
Yeah.
That is the definite. Just honest to God. If he runs under his authority and you book the load and you give it to him, by law, that's the definition of double brokering. Because you took a load underneath your authority and then gave it to somebody else to run it underneath their authority. That's double brokering. Now, the question was, could you get in trouble? Not so much by the FMCSA because you didn't break any of their FMCSA rules by say, but you can get in trouble with your factoring company. You can get in trouble with the broker. Because if the broker finds out that you didn't run this load, they're not going to pay you. That becomes non and void. If the factoring company finds out that you didn't run this load underneath your authority, they will not pay you. So with that, it's it's a double-edged sword. And I'm not gonna give you any advice, but I will say this: stay away from it as best as possible, because at some point you will get caught. I'm just being honest with you. So
The better question for me, as the insurance expert, was, hey, if I give my homeboy a load under my BOL and he drives the load, and he has a situation, will his insurance cover my load? And typically they might, because you're driving it, and maybe he could produce some documents or something saying that you're supposed to put that load. But typically no, because, and here's another thing: if you're driving his truck too, right? You're driving his truck and you're not on the policy, or that BOL is going to come and play, because the BOL is going to say who who was supposed to be moving that freight. BOL is a contract,
that Raycon will that
and the
Raycon gonna
Raycon
cue you
will.
because they gonna
But that's where
ask
double
for it.
double
I
brokering
know.
come in, because you can kind of
That's
say,
why I
"Hey, I was
said
driving it,"
tough. So I would stay away. I mean, I know that's your homie, but I'll stay away because it really puts you at fault, and because he can say some other stuff, but it really puts you in your business at fault. So I would stay away from it, especially if you're doing it for to help them. I'm all for helping somebody, but not in that way, because, like I said, that can really terminate your business, and you did that out of having a good heart. So I would just stay away from that because they cracking down on that right now. Yeah, they asking to see the Raycon. They asking to see the carry on the Raycon. And if that guy can't produce it, man, everybody get in trouble. It ain't worth it. To me, it ain't worth it, man. Just let him
Facts.
get his own stuff, you get your own stuff, and you ain't gotta
Yeah,
worry
it's
about
better
watching on your
because,
back.
and I'm gonna reiterate. He said, if I book a load underneath my 5-year-old MC and give it to my friend who has a new MC, even though he has his own insurance and registration, that's double brokering all day tomorrow, and authority,
Yeah, yeah.
could he or I get in trouble with the FMCSA? Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. Now that I read it a little bit, say it again, you definitely
That's what
could,
I'm saying.
because,
Like, it's
but
double brokering. Just stay
it's
away.
but
Because
it's like, he's fragmented in his, like, who's gonna find out about this, right? And I get that. Like, how would they know? But bro, like, inspections, right? You can inspect it. Um, Sometimes you can inspect it in a truck, and they look at the BOL and they say, "Hey, man, this load's probably going to this other company." That log's in the
but I
system.
will I will say most BOLs, don't have most BOLs don't have the carrier name on it. But some do. But the problem comes into play, like you said, if something does happen. You don't want to like, why would you run your business on if something does happen, right? And I understand, like I said, when I first started, man, listen, I'm gonna be very transparent. Been there, done that. That's all I'm gonna say, because I ain't know no better. I was hustling. I was just trying to make the money. But at the same time, I did get caught up on some stuff once again, and I can't explain myself. Say I'm just hustling. Like, the officer don't want to hear that. So at the same time, I'm protect you and your company. Remember, run your company like a company, not your homeboy. Because Target, Walmart, they don't do no homeboy specials. So don't do
Hell
it either.
nah.
So you run your company like a company, man. You don't gotta worry about washing up your back if something bad happens. That's the only advice I can give you. But I do understand what you're saying at the same time. Been there, done that. But someone who clean up the edges, who run his business legit, man, you don't never gotta worry about washing on your back, or just if you get that phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning, hey man, my trailer turned over, man, your heart, man, everything. Cause now you gotta think about how to recover this. So man, it's easy. It's best to stay clean in this business. I want you to succeed, but just stay clean. Don't do it. Don't do it. Like, don't do that no more if you are doing it.
Nah, it's and then here's the thing. You have a 5-year-old MC. You have
Yeah, it's
more to
dangerous.
lose. You have more value. Your 5-year MC puts you at a different tenure in business. You're in position for better rates. You're in position for better loads. Your safety scarf is clean. You're just all around.
Yep.
You look more polished on paper. If
It's
your safety
one.
score, then I shot to hell. But
Yep.
nah, I wouldn't do it. Somebody say learning how to manage and understanding if the rate that I was taking, the load was for made money, or was a bad decision based on just the dollar amount. He said, okay, let me read this again. He said, learning how to manage and understanding if the rate I was taking for the load that made money. You ain't got to hand all that. Or was a bad decision based on just the dollar amount? I mean, what does it profit you? That's the question. Bro, look, my first load, bro, when I tell people all this all the time. My first load, I did a load for $700 from Duluth, Georgia to Americus, Georgia. At the time, I probably spent $200 on fuel. Right, I made $500 that day, and I came back with a load and made like another 700. So I made like 1,200 a day. The point I was like, damn man, that's a lot of money to me at the time, and it still is, still good money, but it was profitable. So when you talk about good rates, I always was a higher bidding person, so to speak. I've always shot for a higher number when I'm negotiating with brokers, and I'm talking to people who are online trying to going back and forth negotiating. I'm always the person who has a higher number of, right? But I just think it's best when you negotiating, you should always don't be cheap, right? That's the first thing.
If you let me go back to the question, how do I know? So if you go on this website called Freight Waves will tell you what your market is. So what it is in Georgia is not what it is in California. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to first of all, you got to know your market. And then you got to know your commodity, and then you have to know your trailer. So if you're doing dry van, let's just say I know what it is right now. Right now, our average in the Southeast is $3.76 a mile for dry van. In California, it's $4.17 a mile. So if you're taking a California load because you took one to Atlanta, then you got a 50-cent difference that you just bought the market down because you don't know the spot freight. So if you don't know the spot freight, go to freightwaves.com. And it's been a while since I looked at it, but Freightways has a spot market of how much freight should cost, depending on if you dry van, flatbed, heavy haul, whatever you are, so you can have a better understanding of what the average price is. Because if you bid it on just because you think you typically driving the market down, and you only driving down out of you just don't know. But that's how the market is driven down, by taking freight at a cheaper price. So go to freightwaves.com. Go to your region, which is Southeast, Southwest, West Coast, Midwest, whatever mountain, whatever your region is that you picking up that load. So if you're in the Southeast and your dry van, and let's just say it's 380. So when you negotiate a load, you should never go down below 380 as long as possible. You always try to go above the market, go above so you can at least talk your way down. Don't start at, because you would never wait to talk your way up. That's bad negotiation 101. Always go up. Leave you some room to go down. But freightwaves.com, you will find out what the spot freight market is.
Hey, he said it better than I could. Let's continue with the video then.
Moving into next week, so next week could actually be a bigger week than this week, according to what David is telling us. When we move into rejection rates, I like to look at the Sonar tender rejection rates for reefer, because it does have a lot more reefer, it has a lot more CPG in it than just the general outbound tender rejection refrigerated rate, ROTRI. This is STRIR, and it's at 22.06. ROTRI, which is the traditional outbound tender rejection index for refrigerated, is actually a little higher, around 27%. But the reason I'm not looking at it is it doesn't have as much refrigerated in it. This index is very, very heavy refrigerated, and therefore it is a better reflection of sort of the market conditions, in my opinion. It is 22% rejections. We're near all-time highs. Expect that to go up this week, and it's something we will expect to see.
This National Safety Month.
So basically, the whole message behind this is that they're seeing market capacity increase on an unseen precedent level. We didn't know going into this sequence of a quarter what it was going to be like, right? So man, yeah, I just think for the most part that it's just good seeing that the markets are tightening, because I love that everybody's making money again.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, everybody's making money, and it's really benefiting really, if you're a safe carrier, you're gonna be it's gonna be beneficial to you. And that's all this transition is it took out unsafe carriers, and then the safe carriers that still are in this market are they're the ones benefiting from the rewards of higher freight. That's it. I mean, that's as simple as layman terms is that you're getting rewarded for being a safe carrier at this point. Because even like you said on highway, if you're at conditional unsatisfactory highway, you're not even gonna get approved to be a carrier with any of these brokers, you know? So what I'm saying is right now, if you're a safe carrier or if you get in the game and you have a satisfactory safety rating, keep it. That's it. Just keep it. Um, One thing Alante know, with my company, we do a lot of 18-month entrant exams, and these guys are failing just because I don't know. Like these guys they're unsafe, but they're unsafe just because lack of knowledge. And they're failing these new entrant exams, man. And that's what a lot of guys got put out of business at 23. They came in at 22, 21, had that 18th and 20 with the COVID, they start pushing the new entrant exam back for 2 years. But boy, when they started getting audited, man, they got out. They got out because they was put like that. And then of course, the race did go down, but they really was like kicked out because they had a conditional unsatisfactory new entrant safety score, man. So right now it's a fluctuation of is less trucks on the road has than it ever been in the last 20 years, first of all. But then you have an influx of freight. So let's think about it. Less trucks, more freight. Meaning what? Money has to go up. And that's what's happening right now. That's what's happening. And like I said, safe carriers are getting rewarded. So it does pay to run your business with a very strict leash, a short leash. Like, just do everything by the rule books. And if you don't know, like I said, Alante or myself, this is what I do for a living. I do compliance as long as running my truck company. So I see everything. He see the insurance signs. He see things I don't see. It's some things I see that he don't see. But right now is a great time if you serious about trucking.
Hey guys, that's it. We've been on here about an hour. Man, my phone going off. I got a client I gotta go help at 8:30 at night. And if you on camera on live, you see me working on live. You hit me up crazy. That's crazy. But man,
Right.
this
It don't
has been a
stop.
beautiful episode. We're gonna do this every Tuesday, guys. Called the Trucking Truth. Right? Got the Trucker Blueprint in here, Mr. Greg Reed, and it has been a pleasure, my brother. And like
It's been
that,
a pleasure,
guys,
man.
peace, love, and
Anytime.
happiness. And leaving with a word, Greg.
All right, once again, all my truckers, y'all stay safe on that road. And remember, it's someone like me to help you. But remember, always do the right thing. Therefore, you never have to watch over your back.
Hey man, we out.
My God.
Peace, love, and happiness, people.
Here we go. You good, bro?
I would just end it.